want to read a book to you for Lag BaOmer. And the name of the book is On One Foot. Long ago, a somewhat foolish young man traveled to the ancient city of Yerushalayim to study. I want to learn the Torah, the young man said to himself, but I don't want just any teacher. I want a great teacher. He sat under a tree on the outskirts of town and thought, how will I figure out who is truly a great teacher? He watched a bird perched on a nearby branch, standing on one foot. What a clever bird, he thought, to stand on one foot and not topple over. That's it, he jumped up. A great teacher would be clever enough to stand on one foot. His eyes widened at the thought. In fact, a truly great teacher could teach the whole Torah while standing on one foot. So he went off to search in the bustling city of Yerushalayim. Soon he came upon a rabbi who was busy studying. Hello, Rabbi, he said. Can you teach me the whole Torah while standing on one foot? Ha, laughed the rabbi. Do you know how many books there are in the Torah? There are 5. He held up 5 fingers. Do you really think I can teach you all of that while standing on one foot? Ha! Not even the great Rabbi Hillel could do that. He fell on the ground laughing. The young man stamped his foot. Stop laughing at me! But the rabbi continued to laugh. The young man kicked angrily at a clod of dirt and stomped away. Soon he came upon another rabbi. Rabbi, can you teach me the whole Torah while standing on one foot? What? The rabbi shouted. Don't you know that there are 613 mitzvot in the Torah? How could I teach them all while standing on one foot? I'd have to stop to eat and sleep. It takes a whole year to read the Torah from start to finish. But never on one foot. That's preposterous. He towered over the young man and glared. Not even the great Rabbi Hillel could do that. Humph! The young man stormed off, all hot in the face. Finding a great teacher was not going to be easy. He trudged through the streets, scowling at every person he saw, and they all scowled back at him. Soon he came upon the famous Rabbi Shammai and asked him, Rabbi, can you teach me the whole Torah while standing on one foot? Rabbi Shammai scowled. Don't insult me with such a silly question. Not even Rabbi Hillel would tolerate it. Now go, he shouted, shaking his fist. The young man could hardly get away fast enough. By now he feared he would never find a teacher. How did I come all this way for nothing, he asked himself. The sun was settling as he came upon a group of children playing in the square. Get out of my way, he snapped. What's your hurry? We were only playing, one of the children said in surprise, but they all moved to let him pass. The young man strode by, still scowling. Where are you going? Another called out. Can we help? Asked the third. The young man turned back and blinked in surprise. No one had offered to help him all day. I am looking for a great rabbi who can teach me the whole Torah while standing on one foot, he told the children. Oh, let's try that, they all giggled. What fun! They each stood on one foot and recited as fast as they could, but soon they all toppled to the ground laughing. We can't do it. You should go to Rabbi Hillel. They pointed the way. If anyone can do it, he can. He's the wisest rabbi in all of Yerushalayim, and he's also the kindest. So the young man went. Meanwhile, the kind, gentle Rabbi Hillel was spending his day teaching people who came to him with questions. He listened carefully to each one and gave each a thoughtful response. So many questions, thought Rabbi Hillel, so much to learn. At that moment he heard a knock on the door. "Please come in," he called, even though it was already growing dark. The young man entered. "Oh, Rabbi Hillel, can you teach me the whole Torah while standing on one foot?" The rabbi looked at him. The young man held his breath. What would the great rabbi do? Rabbi Hillel did not fall on the ground laughing or shout "preposterous" or even shake his fist at him. He did not stand on one foot either. Instead, he waited patiently to make sure that the young man was listening. Then he calmly spoke. "Do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you." "What?" said the whole man. "Is that the whole Torah?" Rabbi Hillel nodded. "The rest is just comments and explanations." The young man scratched his head. He thought about his day of being laughed at and insulted. He thought about how he'd scowled at strangers and how they scowled back. He scratched his head. "I don't like to be insulted or scowled at, so I shouldn't do that to other people." "I think that would be a good way to live," said Rabbi Hillel gently. I'd like to try it," said the not-so-foolish young man. "Good," said Rabbi Hillel. "Come, my student, let's go study." Rabbi Hillel's wise words spread far and wide from one person to the next and from one generation to the next, all the way down to us. Do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you. Words that are wise enough to last a lifetime and yet simple enough to say while standing on one foot. So I know in my class, and I know in all the other classes, all the teachers, all the morot have been teaching that from the very beginning of school. And we've been saying it a little bit differently. We've been saying ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, that you should love people the way you want to be loved, that you should treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I was thinking about it because we talk about this all the time in class. We always talk about all the things that you can do. But I want you to think very, very carefully and think of something that you're not going to do, something that might bother somebody else, something that might hurt somebody else. And think about something that you don't want someone to do to you. Maybe you don't want to be bothered in Zoom. Maybe you don't want a brother or a sister to scribble on your writing or your picture. Maybe you don't want to ruin or knock down somebody else's block building or Lego building. So I want you to think about things that maybe you're not going to do because you don't want someone to do it to you. And then you could think about things that you can do and the way that you want people to treat you. So I wrote down that you can copy if you want. This says, "I won't." And if you want to write something of something that you're not going to do, maybe something that you don't want someone to do to you. Maybe you want to write, "I will." What will you do? And think about it. It's not just for the way that you treat other kids. Maybe you want mommy to read you an extra story. Maybe you want daddy to play a game with you. Or you want mommy to teach you a card game. Or you want daddy to read something fun for you. So if you ask them to do it and they say yes, what do you think they want you to say when they ask you to do something? Will you brush your teeth? What's the answer? Yes. Will you put your clothes in the hamper? Yes. Every time that you say yes to them, I'm sure that they're going to say yes to you because you should treat them the way that you want to be treated. So another great rabbi, Rabbi Akiva, also learned ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, and he taught it to all his students as well. And so there is a song that some of you may know, so I want to sing it with you. And if you know it, you can help me sing. And the words are Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Treat people, love people the way you want to be treated. And then he said, Sheli, shalach, shalach, shalach. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. And really what he was trying to teach you is that what I have, I'm happy to share with you. And I don't expect you to share it back. If you do, it's great. But I'm not expecting it. So I would always like to share with you. And it doesn't matter if you give me back something. So if you know the song, you can help me sing. Amar Rabbi Akiva, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Amar Rabbi Akiva, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Sheli shalach, 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 sheli shalach, shalach, shalach. Ze klal gadol b'Torah. That's everything in the Torah. Sheli shalach, 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 sheli shalach, shalach, shalach. Ze klal gadol b'Torah. Then you can do it again. Amar Rabbi Akiva. So what I want everybody to do is stand up on one foot, like I'm going to try to do, and say, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Okay, good. I did it on one foot. Bye, everybody.